Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Transformers review. And as you can see, I've left the mini bots behind, and I've come across in amongst my collection. It's a little bit tatty, but I thought it's worth showing you. It's another one of the Predator jets, and this one is called Snare. Now he's obviously a Decepticon, being a Predator jet. He's from the Machine Wars, so it's kind of in between G1 G2. I kind of class them more G2, as these ones were never really in the G1 sort of cartoons or comics or anything like that. So some people class them still as G1, but I kind of think they're borderline. They're more G2 really, to my mind. But the actual, as I say, the proper actual heading they come under is actually Machine Wars. Now, as you can see, he's very much that sort of styling of that time, bright colours, quite sort of like day glow, sort of like greens. They went for some pretty jazzy sort of colour schemes in this sort of line. Unusual jet. I've got no idea whether it's based on any sort of prototype jets of the time where they was trying to do forward swept wings, or whether it is just an out and out just sort of made up design. Quite a nice sort of stylised jet, quite different from a lot of the other Transformer jets. Does have some little plastic undercarriage, as you can see there. These do fold up as well. I should sort of show you that as well. They fold back, and the front one folds up under the nose, so it's all quite neat. Not a huge amount of robot kibble, but it's not beyond your imagination to see where the transformation comes from. The arms and legs are pretty obvious, but it doesn't kind of scream at you when you're looking at it from above in the jet mode. It's a little bit sort of like sticker worn, but as I say, I thought I'd show you this one. The accessories it came with obviously is the green fireable missiles, which peg on with the holes in the top just onto the little posts. They do fire out of the generic gold launcher weapon that all of the Seekers, the Predator jets of the time had. It's just a sprung loaded gold plastic gun. Isn't too bad actually. This seems, even though this is the sort of gold plastic of that period what you have trouble with, this does actually seem to be okay. So whether they put a slightly different type of grey plastic into these due to the fact you have to squeeze it to launch the missile, not sure. So, but these seem to have hold together reasonably well. Anyway, getting to the figure, he does have the drop down feature of that all of the Predators had, in the fact that they've got a sprung loaded, as it keeps getting away from my fingers, little battle scene that you could then look through, say Stalkers or Skyquakes, little sort of attachments. I think you could do it with Skyquake as well, but Stalker you definitely could. You could look through his missile and see almost like a battle scene, like if you're aiming to attack the Autobots. And both on Skyquake and Stalker, this square part pegged into like the weapon part, so these could sort of piggyback mount on top of the other vehicle modes. Anyway, again, getting to basically his transformation now. Pretty basic transformation. The wings do not move, which is a little bit of a shame. It would have been quite nice if they hinged. Neither does the top fin. So the transformation is quite simply folding that bit back in out of the way. You pull down. Oh, it's a bit stiff, but it should come. Pull down on the. Oh, that's it. It only moves a little bit on that sliding screw there. Just put that missile back on. But it just extends the legs slightly at that point. And you just fold up the rear bit, put the undercarriage in those slots out of the way, and you've basically got his legs. His arms are already there really, so all you've then got to do is flip over the nose of the jet into place, and then just lift up his head and then obviously you can swing out his arms. Arms have got no other articulation apart from the shoulder joints, which is a little bit of a shame. It's a bit of a shame as well they didn't have them that they could slide in or fold. Oh, there goes the missile, or fold up the sort of to disguise them a bit and sort of like blend into the vehicle mode a little bit better. But again, it's a little bit of a shame as well the wings don't hinge, because they could sort of be tucked away out the back a little bit, because obviously he's just really got a plane on his back. Bit of a shame. That is one sort of real downside to the figure. Also, you'll notice his sort of canopy bit does sort of stick up a bit where his face is, so I'm not sure you can see where he's going either. But good light piping. I'll sort of show that. Lift the camera up a little bit. Does have really good light piping on these Predator jets, and most of like the Machine Wars and G2 line, they did go for light piping. I don't think they ever bothered on any of the G ones doing it, but it's kind of nice. Really brings out the eyes on them and makes them a little bit more menacing. I know Dave, SMS #1, does like his light piping, so I'll show him that. But it's not a bad little figure, and of course you can peg the launcher into his hand. Just carefully try and get that in. That's it. So yeah, a pretty basic figure, but not bad, and it does help sort of like flesh out the Decepticons of the Machine Wars line, and of course it's quite nice to have them as a set with the Predator jets. One thing I would note as well, although that won't bother showing you because it would just fly off anyway, and they do tend to want to fall off today anyway, but these green missiles really do launch well from these gold launchers. I think also on the Autobot, the car versions, well, the equivalent on the Turbo Masters, their missiles did launch very well as well. But yeah, it's one thing to look out for. If you ever come across them, you often find them without the weapons, so if you find one with weapons, it is really worth picking them up. Yeah, and that's about it really. I can't really think of much else to add to him that I haven't already said. Like I say, articulation in these was pretty much like a brick. Got no articulation in the legs and only shoulder articulation in the arms, but he's still not a bad little figure, and he's a little bit different, and different enough to add to your collection. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed that review, and as I always say, feel free to subscribe, feel free to comment, and you know, if there's anything you're particularly looking for, check in my other films first. You might well find that I've already reviewed a particular figure, but if I haven't and there's something particularly you'd like to see, feel free to ask, and if I've got it I'll try and dig it out and do the review. I will get round. I have been asked before some of the other combiner teams. I will get round to the others. It's just a case of I'd like to do them all in sort of one hit. So showing each individual figure, say like the Constructicons, you've got 6 figures to get through, then the combined mode, and then any other sort of extra bits what might go with them. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed that review, and I shall see you again for another Transformers review. Thanks for watching.